Imagine buying a brand new premium flat in London, only to watch like up to 34% of its value just vanish into thin air.
Yeah, it is a brutal reality right now.
Right. And meanwhile, the more affordable neighborhood right next door hits absolute record highs. So welcome to your custom deep dive. Today, we are looking at London's unexpectedly turbulent property market.
Using a really interesting recent briefing from the week.
Exactly. Our mission here is to decode why the capital is suddenly splitting in two and what this actually tells you about the reality of real estate investments. Okay, let's unpack this.
Right, because we really have to look at the raw numbers splitting the city in half first.
We do. Because we are seeing a massive crash in premium flats. I mean, owners are taking up to 34% losses, wiping out hundreds of thousands of pounds.
That's staggering.
But then you contrast that with more affordable boroughs, places like Havering, Waltham Forest, and Lewisham, and they hit all-time highs last autumn. I look at this and it's basically a seesaw.
A seesaw.
Yeah, like the really expensive seats are crashing hard to the ground, and that momentum is launching the cheaper seats straight up into the air.
What's fascinating here is the underlying mechanism driving that seesaw effect. It is a severe affordability squeeze.
Because of interest rates, I assume?
Interest rates, yeah, and massive cost of living pressures. They have completely priced buyers out of the premium tier. So people who would have normally bought in central London are forced to look further out.
Which pushes up demand in the cheaper boroughs.
Exactly. They've fled into places like Havering or Lewisham, driving those prices up, while the luxury flats they abandoned just sit empty.
So what does this all mean for the people who actually bought those premium new builds? Because this totally shatters that old adage we've all been fed. You know, that property always goes up.
Oh, absolutely.
With these new build homes, are they basically just like driving a brand new car off the dealership lot? Like the second you turn the key, you instantly lose money.
Well, it's actually worse than the car analogy.
Wait, really? How?
Because a car depreciates due to immediate wear and tear, right? But these London flats, they're depreciating before anyone even moves in.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's because of systemic market gridlock. I mean, yes, new builds always carry a premium over secondhand homes, but right now, buyers are completely paralyzed by a perfect storm of financial pressures.
Like the stamp duty stuff.
Yeah, we have the higher stamp duty costs, those hefty upfront property taxes that have been dragging on the market since April 2025.
Right.
And you pair that with a massive overall supply of flats and rampant speculation about the upcoming autumn budget, buyers are just terrified to make a move.
Okay, so if you're looking to invest, you freeze. But if all this demand is shifting to the affordable boroughs, why aren't developers just rushing to build cheaper homes there?
Because they mathematically cannot make it work.
Mm.
New build construction in London has essentially ground to a halt.
Why, though?
There are two major roadblocks. First, the onerous red tape required just to break ground. And second, Mayor Sadiq Khan instituted a mandate requiring that over a third of new housing must be sold at a discount.
Right, the affordable housing quotas.
Exactly. So if a developer has to sell 35% of their project below market value, it destroys their profit margins. The projects simply become too expensive to finance and build.
Here's where it gets really interesting, though. Because developers and buyers are both losing money, this freeze is mutating into a fierce political crisis.
It really is.
If you look at the analysis from the New Statesman, it points out how this unites two furiously angry groups. You have renters who are completely locked out of the market.
Right.
And you have property owners whose investments completely failed to pay off. It is like a terrible game of musical chairs where both the people who got a seat and the people left standing are furiously angry at the DJ.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, it explains the absolute deadlock. Developers won't build because it's not profitable, and almost nobody is buying what's already built because of taxes and fear.
So with the market deadlocked today, does it ever unfreeze? Like, what do forecasters predict for tomorrow?
Well, the bleeding is starting to slow down, but we aren't looking at a massive rebound. Rightmove predicts that London house prices will only rise by about 1% next year.
Just 1%.
Yeah, which actually lags behind the 2 to 3% average growth expected across the rest of the UK.
And that sluggish growth, I mean, that leads us to the ultimate reality check for you, the listener. If you are sitting there holding property or thinking about buying, you really need to hear this because it dismantles the illusion of real estate as a guaranteed wealth generator.
Yeah, let's look at the long game. Since 2003, nominal house prices across the UK have roughly doubled.
Which sounds fantastic on paper.
It does, but here's the catch. The pound has lost half its purchasing power to inflation over that exact same time frame. Yeah, So when you adjust for that, the real tangible value of an average UK property is basically unchanged from 2 decades ago.
That is staggering. A 20-year investment that basically just treaded water.
It really changes how you view the whole system, doesn't it?
It does. And it leaves us with this final question for you to ponder. If a home no longer generates guaranteed wealth over 2 decades, how does that fundamentally rewrite society's modern dream of homeownership?